Welcome to Meeting of the Moms, a place to talk about all the things. I'm Amy Rasmussen. I'm a teacher by profession, a wife and mother by choice, an optimist by nature, and happy by design. I'm here with my good friend Lorna, who I call one of my greatest cheerleaders.
Hi, I'm Lorna Adams. I'm a wife, mom, and certified life coach. I strive to embrace and enjoy each new phase of life. Here at Moms, we believe the world is wide open to all of us and that we have unlimited potential. We're so glad you're here.
Spoiler alert. In this episode, we talk about what happens behind the scenes to create much of the magic of Christmas. So if there are little ears around where you are listening, we suggest that you grab your earbuds or pause this episode and come back to listen later.
One of the stresses that I tend to feel around Christmas is gift giving. And typically around my kids is where I feel the most stress, is I want it to be just right. And so some of that I've tried to let go of, it has to be just right, to I'm giving things to them because I love them and I want it to be fun. And so trying to keep that attitude as I'm doing some shopping. And then also I've been more apt to ask them what they want. And I have one daughter that is quick to give, not quick, but she knows things that she likes and she can give me specific things that she wants on a list. And then I have one daughter that has said for years, I like surprises. So just surprise me. And maybe she'll mention a couple things that she would like, but then she's happy to have surprises. And really, that has been so fun because she is honest about loving surprises, and she really can be happy with most everything I have given her that has been a surprise. So that's been super fun. That she knows herself. Yeah, right? Yep. She knows herself well enough that she does love surprises, and then she can just be thrilled. And then I have a couple other kids that have given me some ideas and then haven't quite known what else. And so some is still up to me to decide. And then I really did have one child say, I don't like knowing everything. There was one year where this particular child, he must have given me a list. I can't remember the details, but he's like, that wasn't as fun of a Christmas. And he may have even said that was the worst Christmas because he knew everything he was getting. And he was still, he was probably preteen, and so tween time frame. I can't remember exactly for sure, and so I'm like, okay, well, that's good to know too. That so even if he isn't articulating I like surprises, he does like surprises. And so I want to try and incorporate some surprises amidst his gifts. So anyway, any other thoughts about that part, gift giving?
Yeah. I think so. I do love giving gifts, and I like finding just the gift for someone. On the other hand, there's also the time and place for just being like, okay, this is a sign that I love you. I'm not going to stress about finding just the thing. But I think part of it isn't so much that I think it's an expectation. It's just that in those moments where I've gotten just the thing for someone, it is fun. It is fun to have those gift-giving moments, but it can also just cause stress. So this year, as I was thinking about gift stuff, my kids gave me a list. I did Christmas for my one son, most of it before he left on his mission. I did send him a couple of things to open in the MTC because that's where he'll have Christmas. But it's things like, all right, here's a few snacks for your flight day, like perishables. I mean, not perishable, but just stuff that he can use up and then not have to cart around. But with my other kids, I asked them for lists, and they were very short and they were very doable. My 11-year-old was like, well, I'm coding to do this one game, so can I have more time to code? I'm like, okay. I mean, so I want to come up with a way to make that fun. So maybe we can just have a day where it's like, yes, you get to code. And my other son who really likes to cook, and you get to cook today. What do you want to experiment with? So I'm kind of playing with that. But then I ended up making a spreadsheet last year, and I just went in and copied and pasted it so that I can have it on my phone whenever I need it. Because I like to write stuff down, but then I have to find it. So that's been my thing this year, to drop it into the spreadsheet. I did that just on Tuesday of this week. I just dropped it in there. Then I could see how much did I spend? What things did they ask for? What ideas did I have? Is there kind of a balance of that? And then I always have to think, oh, what about the stockings, right? I sometimes forget those. So I've been doing that. I did have an experience with my one son where I had this great idea. He's been running and been focused on healthier eating. So I'm like, okay, I am going to look up really good running snacks, and that's what he's going to have in his stocking because I know he doesn't want treats. So I'm so excited. And the other day he's like, so Mom, I was thinking about my stocking, and I'm wondering if instead of treats, you could maybe put this stuff in there. And I was like, you're not supposed to know about my great So I told my husband later, I'm like, I feel like kind of mad about that. Not really, but sort of.
Right.
So,
I have the idea of my own.
I know. I wanted him to be like, wow, my mom really gets me. And now it's just going to be like, I already told her that. And it's fine, but just funny even to notice my feeling of just like, but I wanted you to feel like I really know you.
Yeah.
After having to tell me. So just kind of, those are some of my adventures for Christmas this year, is that for gifts, right? That
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out.
Awesome. Well, and I've done the spreadsheet. I did, and I've loved, there have been times where I've highlighted it differently if I've ordered it or if
Yes.
it's come in the mail. So
Yep.
then I can have a really great tracking of what's going on, where am I,
Yep.
what am I still waiting for in the mail? Anyway, so love it.
Well,
Love your idea.
And that right there is part of what kind of spazzes me out sometimes. I think, like, I have tried being ready earlier, but then as Christmas gets closer, I'm like, wait a minute, did I do that? Wait, I think I better get more. Like, I kind of have this like thing. And so I'm like, I need something to harness this. So I can just look and be like, nope, those are the things. That's how many things we get, or that's how much money we spend. And I do have the stocking taken care of. And so I think sometimes it's finding the tool that works for you to keep that in your mind. And some people do a great job just keeping that in their mind. So to realize I do not. I keep other things in my mind, but not that. And and that I would just kind of go into a dither of like, is this going to be what I'm trying to create because of my own efforts, or did I like somehow not do the thing I wanted to do? So this just helps me see like, yep, I did it. So we're good. Or it's coming. It's not, because all this stuff's hidden, so I don't have it in my face all the time to know what it is. Right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, totally. Well, and my husband will be the first to tell you that Christmas Eve nights, I have been known to be kind of freaking out. Like this one, like this pile looks different than this pile, and I should, all of the stresses of trying to make it just right. And even that, I've been able to calm my brain down a little bit. Some of the different things I've done is reminding myself why I'm getting the things I'm getting. Why did I get this child this? Well, because they like it, or I think it'll be fun for them, or whatever. And just kind of help calm my brain down in that way. Mm-hmm. And then also we have talked about, or the last, handful of years, we've done a budget, more of an amount of money that we spend on each child. And so then I can also use that just to help remind my brain. Yep, maybe one person's pile looks bigger than another, but it was all in budget. This is their budget and this is their budget, and it's going to be fine. Anyway, I have to do some of that to remind myself. And it's gotten better over the last couple of years as I've worked on it consciously, so that I can have a more pleasant Christmas Eve and not be so stressed and kind of spaz, the word that you said, kind of spaz.
Yep. And I do think all of this is part of the learning. So one of the things I've thought about, people who are maybe further along the path of life and motherhood than we are, is sometimes the advice we get is advice that's given in a way that somehow we should already know this about ourselves. Like, of course you should simplify. I could have told you that you should simplify. And like, that's not helpful, because the bottom line is that you and I had to go through the Christmases we went through and experience what we experienced to discover that you are you and I am me, and this is what works for you, and this is what I like to do. So I would encourage me, you, everyone, to be patient as you're going through each Christmas or each phase of life, and that we're just learning about ourselves. And there's no, I should have known this 20 years ago when I had my first kid. Why should we have known anything we know now when we were 20? We didn't have the experience yet. And we can learn from other people, but there's also stuff that there's no way really to get it except to go through it and then discover. And so just that feeling of curiosity and discovery can be exciting as opposed to frustrating. Even like with traditions. I have one friend who, right when they got married, our tradition is going to be to go to all the national parks. And I'm like, wow, good for you to know what your tradition is going to be. I'm glad that works for you. That has not worked for me. Yeah. Our traditions have been things that we have discovered along the way.
Yeah, totally. Which is so great too. Yep. That's what works for you. Let's do it this way. Yeah, so good. I think one of the things too is about not beating ourselves up about whatever it is. If we don't decorate, if we feel like we didn't get the right gifts or whatever, not beat ourselves up and be compassionate. Like, yeah, this is what's working for me today, and this is okay. Because it is. It totally is okay. And even if your kids don't like the gifts that you give them, it's okay. Maybe actually that's a really good opportunity for them to learn about Christmas. My son that had said that one year was a hard Christmas for him. Well, maybe that's an opportunity that now he can articulate. I actually kind of do like not knowing what I'm getting for Christmas. Yeah. Or had he not experienced that, he wouldn't be able to articulate this other thing now. And so don't let it mean it's a fail. I think let it be something that we can learn from and then adjust.
Yep. I love the idea that anytime we like, move something forward that we're working on, or we learn something, it's a win. And so, he learned something and you learned something about him, right? So I think that's great. One thing I do with my kids, I try and do it once a year or every year for Christmas, is I have a quote about receiving gifts. And part of it comes from the fact that I don't always receive gifts gracefully. Sometimes I'm like, do you seriously not know me at all that you gave me this? The funny story about this is a year that I opened my present from my mother-in-law, and I'm like, is this a diaper bag? And there was not a baby in sight. Like, the age of my children was like I don't know. It was just, why are you giving me a diaper bag? She's like, it's not a diaper bag. It's just a duffel bag. I was like, okay. But my other sisters-in-law also got the same bag. And they had little ones, and it was a diaper bag. And so later that same day, she's like, oh, whose diaper bag is this? I'm like, that would be my bag. And so we had a really good laugh together, which I love, because not all years was I at a place, or was she at a place where we had that kind of like, oh, ha, 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 how funny is this that I said it was a diaper bag and you were like, it's not, but then that's what you thought it was. And so I love gift giving and I love receiving gifts, but I've also found that there is part of me that sometimes is like, why are you giving me something that I will never, it's not me. So then I've just had to adjust. So I want to teach my kids how to do that early, that we can be grateful for the desire of someone else to give us something because they love us. In addition to like being exciting about giving gifts, I also want to talk about how we can receive gifts in a way that it actually is a gift to us, regardless of what the item is.
Yeah, totally. And I do love that idea about just appreciating it because somebody thought of us. I feel like there have been some years where I've had harder Christmases and some that I've had easier, just kind of where I am mentally. I think we all go through things like that. And I think sometimes it is sometimes harder to see it as they were thinking of me. Yeah, maybe it isn't my thing, but I can be grateful because of where we are. But just being intentional about, I want to just be grateful. If people are willing to give me something, I'm going to be grateful that they did. And I should go show you. I have the best gift. It was a neighbor gift that somebody gave us this year. And I am in awe. It was one of those gifts that I did not expect. And it was above and beyond in my book of what a neighbor gift or, this cute friend in the ward gave us. But I also have heard of an idea, and actually it was done to me. Somebody did the 4 weeks of Christmas. You've heard about like the 12 days of Christmas, maybe knocking on doors. We've done some of that as a secret for people, knocked on doors every night. Or even we've also done like wrapped up 12 things and have given instructions like open up one a day. So we just deliver one box with all the things.
Oh, okay. But then they get to have the fun. Okay.
Yes, throughout the whole 12 days. This idea, a gal in our ward, whom I love and adore, she had done the 4 weeks of Christmas, and every Sunday I would get a note with some little gift. And so it wasn't the 12 days that felt overwhelming. And she actually asked a couple different people to give me the thing, and they would just say, I can't tell you who it's from if I were to ask or whatever. But it just was a fun way of still being thought, like someone was thinking of me, and it wasn't the 12 days that can sometimes feel overwhelming. It was 4. Yep. It just was a fun take on the 12 days of Christmas. So I thought that was really awesome. Anyway, any thoughts about those?
I think you should pause and go get that thing.
Okay, all right, I'll be right back. Hey, Amy hasn't seen this yet either. I'm going to show it for the first time. This is our neighbor gift from some friends.
Oh, wow, did they make it?
Yes. I should even scoot back a little bit more. So
that is super cool.
Like this, it is like double my head.
Yeah.
Right? It is like at least 12, 16, 18 inches tall. It's a nativity in case you.
Yeah, I was just saying, if you can't see it. Yeah, if you're just listening, it's a nativity made out of wood, like a silhouette nativity.
Yeah, totally. It is made out of wood, and it's probably
I love it.
Half an inch thick or so. Anyway, super cute. It was on inside my house. One of my kids had brought it in. It was on our porch, and I am in awe. Like so generous. I think gifts like that. I love nativities anyway. I do love to collect nativities. And they don't know that. Like this was a neighbor gift. I've seen it in a couple different neighbors' porches and inside in their windows and whatever. So I know they gave it to lots of people. They don't know I'm collecting nativities, but it was so awesome because I do love nativities. And that is not something that I could make on my own easily.
Right.
You know how we've talked about the decorating or whatever, like that is not natural to me, making a wreath or whatever, right? This would not be natural for me, but I am so thrilled. I love it. I just thought it was such a fun gift. So I think that's also kind of cool to recognize other people's gifts and talents for what it is, not to compare ourselves like, oh, I should be making wood projects for my neighbor gifts.
Right.
My neighbor gifts need to be stepped up a little bit. Just be so grateful for what they offer and then be okay with what we offer.
Yeah. I have a Bible app on my phone that has like the modern kind of language of the Bible as opposed to King James Version. And one day the verse that came across my screen was something like, let everyone decide in his heart what he is willing to give, for God loveth a cheerful giver. Awesome. And I have never understood that scripture that way. And I think there is something amazing that happens between people when we give what we have decided in our heart to give. Because my guess is that people who gave those enjoyed making them, and that's what they chose to give. And so it's brought them a lot of joy. But as soon as you bring in this thing like, oh, I guess I'm supposed to do whatever, you remove that space that you could live in of deciding what you're going to give and then to give that. And someone might decide, I am going to give a smile. I am going to say Merry Christmas to people this year. I am going to give warm hugs, like do the Olaf gift. I like warm hugs. I don't know, but I love that you're able to just enjoy it. I also had a thought with comparison, which I think I've said to you before, but I've wondered more and more if comparison is actually a gift to us that we misuse and we misapply. And here's what I mean. I think comparison is a God-given gift that we start being able to use in toddler age, and it helps us know what is us and what is not us. But what happens as we grow up is instead of being like, that's Lorna and this is Amy, instead we use it to be like, I should be doing what Lorna does. But comparison was always given to us just so we could differentiate and be like, this is me and this is you, and that is fine.
Yeah.
Because it's really important in childhood development for them to start realizing mom is other than I am. And so, I don't know, just comparison has changed for me as I've thought about it in that way, that is actually the purpose of comparison and how it can be used helpfully rather than turning it into, well, now that I see that that's different, I now have to live up to it.
Right.
That doesn't have to happen.
Yeah, totally.
At all.
So good. So good. I think that's a great point. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Other Christmas thoughts, Amy?
I have a thought about a gift given to me. So yesterday, my husband stayed home. He usually has a lot of leave that's built up at the end of the year, and then you have to use it or you lose it. So he'll have these days at the end of the year that he can just take off. So I didn't know he was taking the day off till Monday night. He's like, yeah, I think I'm taking tomorrow off. I was like, okay, I have tomorrow planned already, but okay. So he came into the kitchen in his pajamas and puffy coat because he'd been outside, and I was making my breakfast. Kind of did a half singing of like, on the 5th day of Christmas, your true love gave to you. I'm like, where is this going? He's not a singer. I mean, he could be, but he just doesn't sing often. He's like, well, I thought I'd check out that burner on our stove that has not been working forever, because I was going to dive in and try and fix it. And then I'm like, I don't know how to do some of the steps. I'm overwhelmed. And he's like, well, it's easy. You just do this. I'm like, not easy for me. And he remembered it. And I don't even know if just in the moment he decided it was going to be a haha 5th day of Christmas kind of thing. But it was just a fun way for him to be like, I am going to do this for you. So then not only did he do that, like check it out and figure out there was just like a loose wire that was causing a short. So we don't maybe even need to replace a part that I thought we would. He'd pulled the stove out. And you know how when you pull the stove out, you're like, hey, there's a lot of nasty stuff over there. And so I was thinking, it was not on my plan to clean that today. So I'm trying to be grateful. At the same moment, I'm like, I don't want to clean it. Well, guess what? He cleaned it all. So now I have a clean oven, not oven, like the outside. The inside still needs cleaning, but the outside is clean. The stove is clean. And we did go ahead and order the part because we're still curious if it's not totally working, but it's working way better than it was. And I just remember even thinking in the moment where I'm like, I don't want to clean that up. I was also thinking, but I really do want the burner to work again. So even if I have to clean it up, I am going to be grateful for this. And I'm going to have to work on myself a little bit to be grateful for that and shift my brain for what I had planned and what's actually happening. But anyway, it just allowed me to just be ready to be grateful.
Yeah, totally. Which was in your control, which I love. And then a bonus that he ended up cleaning it up. Not even a discussion or whatever. That's awesome. That's cool.
I love that I didn't say it, right? I didn't say to him like, I'm not planning on cleaning that up today. Now, sometimes maybe one would need to say it, but I took time. I entered the whole situation gently, and it worked well. So
great. Well, cool. Good job.
Yeah. As we're talking about doing what's in our control and choosing to have joy and all these things. I think it's also important to recognize that we each just have a zone of differing size in which we can make the choice to have joy. So just be aware of that. So if you're like, I am not in a place right now where I can appreciate my husband pulling the stove out and making a mess or whatever. Okay, what is your zone? Like, what is your zone for choosing how you're going to respond to something? Because certain Christmases, I was able to laugh and have it be funny about the whole diaper bag thing. Other Christmases, I wasn't there. And so I was having to work in a different zone as I moved through how to function. Same thing with you. In certain Christmases, you're able to be calmer on that Christmas Eve. And other Christmases, you're like, for whatever reason, I'm worried about it this Christmas. So I'm having to do a little more work to enjoy what I want to enjoy. Yeah. I just want to throw that out there because sometimes I think when we're like, well, y'all just choose joy. It's so easy. What you're not seeing is the times when I'm spazzing out about the gifts, or when you're having your Christmas Eve that your husband's like, are you kidding me? Like, right. You're not seeing all that or hearing all that here as we're talking calmly about choosing joy. So I want to recognize the struggle that it is and the fact that we can kind of identify the space we have to make a choice and just appreciate that little space, whatever it is.
Yeah, so good. I think there's something about just being kind to ourselves. I think is again part of it is like not being so hard on ourselves so that we can choose joy at times. Anyway, so good.
Because if you're like, okay, I gotta choose joy, then you're just building up the same like weird expectation that causes a problem. Right. Yeah, just be where you are and be kind to yourself at that place.
Yeah.
And be okay with growth. The last thing is I often try and do with my kids something I learned from another friend, which is a gift to the Savior. We don't get to do it every year. I don't have some amazing tradition surrounding it, but I like to think about it at least for myself. What focus am I going to have this Christmas? And so often it comes back to extending some sort of forgiveness and to someone else. And that's where I'm at this year. And the things I've been thinking about are, can I forgive so-and-so for being weak in that moment when I really wanted them to be strong? And can I forgive so-and-so, someone else, for not meeting me in my vulnerability with empathy? Can I forgive that? Because as much as I want to show up empathetically when someone's vulnerable, I don't always. Can I forgive that other person for lack of support when I was really at a struggling moment and I really needed support, and they should have been someone I could go to, but then they weren't. And so those are just three of the like really specific things, and they all are attached to specific people that I've been thinking about in relation to forgiveness. And sometimes I think it helps to identify the things that felt hurtful so that we actually can forgive them. And I don't have to go to those people and be like, just so you know, I am now forgiving you for being totally weak in this moment where I need you to be strong. That's not helpful. Instead, it's just for inside of me to recognize, yes, they were weak when I wanted them to be strong, and I can forgive them for it. Yes, they did not meet me with empathy when I really, really needed empathy because I was being pretty vulnerable, and I'm going to forgive them for it. Yes, they failed to support me in something that was really kind of a big deal for me, and I can forgive them for it. So that's my aspiration this Christmas is to be able to extend some of that.
I think the whole point with forgiveness too is actually helping us as we extend that forgiveness. It's actually going to heal our own hearts and help us be more of the people we want to be. I feel like this is a topic we could go on and on. I feel like there's lots that we could continue to talk about with this.
We can make a note for another week, right?
Right. But I just think that is why. I think that's why the Savior has asked us to forgive one another, is because it actually is helping us to be better so then we can show up better for other people. And it feels better inside of us as we let go some of that, that hurt and whatever. So way to go. I love it. Such a great theme.
We hope that you will have a merry and bright season wherever you are, and that just a little bit of light can come to you from us. Merry Christmas.
Thanks for coming to Meeting of the Moms. We hope it made your load a little lighter. We'd love to hear what's on your mind. Send your celebrations, takeaways, and suggestions for future topics to momswithamyandlorna@gmail.com.
If you enjoyed the show, please like, share, and subscribe. If this isn't the right fit for you, we wish you well on your journey. Until next time, I'm Lorna Adams.
And I'm Amy Rasmussen. See you next week at Moms.